Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all who are here on this beautiful Wednesday morning here in the great United States of America. Folks, this is a special report from the Emergency Management Office at the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. There is a fire. There is a major fire over in Hawaii. And we're going to be taking you over to News Now in Hawaii in just a few minutes. A huge fire has burned a lot of areas in Maui, and there's also a fire over on the big island of Hawaii. We're going to be talking about it. Okay? The first thing I want to do is show you exactly what's going on. I'm taking you now over to Hawaii News Now.
Lahaina has been destroyed by a fast-moving brush fire.
Yeah, this is all incredibly hard to comprehend, the scale of this disaster at this point, and we're working to gather as much information about this situation for you as possible.
Casey Lund, Billy V have been on the phone all morning getting us the very latest updates, and they join us now live.
Yeah, good morning. And as you're waking up this morning, we're also trying to learn the latest information that we have, but we also understand that authorities on Maui and Hawaii Island are pretty busy at this point.
They are. We've been trying to get in touch with both county officials on both of those islands, and it's been difficult, Billy, but they've got a lot on their plate. I want to show you just really quickly one more time. This is one of the only webcams. We usually have so many that we can pan to throughout the morning. This is the Grand Wailea, south of Kihei, where there's fires you're going to cover in a moment, and of course well south of Lahaina Town. Historic Lahaina Town is nearly completely reduced to rubble, as Grace said. By most reports, we don't have hard details from officials, but this is video from Hawaiian Airlines flight that is going into Maui, and you can see the scale of that fire, and that is, we believe, right in the heart of town. That big banyan tree is the library, that historic tourist destination, from what many people are telling us, is essentially burned to the ground. Those fast-moving winds that Guy Hagi was warning us about yesterday in our first alert weather day, rushing that fire down the hill, sending embers flying, likely spotting new fires down the road, and really wiping out so much of that town. We've heard reports, again, not from officials, but from people on the ground there, that it is in the hundreds of buildings. Devastation that we haven't seen since incidents like Hurricane Iniki and the 2018 eruption of Kilauea, where more than 700 homes were destroyed by lava. We've also heard on the ground from those there. At this hour, it's still just hard to say if anyone was hurt or killed. We certainly hope not, but we do know that many businesses, this is video from Alan Dicker, who owns businesses. He owns multiple homes. He lost some of those. He's trying to assess what he's missing, what's been lost in this fire. We also talked to folks that had to escape Lahaina, jump in the water to get away from that fire. And the Coast Guard sent a helicopter to try and help those folks and locate them. We're working to get information if everybody was recovered. If you're missing someone or you need emergency services, 911 is not working in West Maui. You have to text to 911. I want to listen to a couple of Maui residents that we were able to interview late last night. We had coverage, Billy, well into the morning hours. Around 1 o'clock we came off the air. We came right back on for you. This is what they had to say about trying to get out of Lahaina.
The smoke was just so thick. People were running around looking for refuge. The heat was unbearable, feeling it through the car doors, and then sitting in traffic for 3 hours to make it from Lahaina into Kahului to finally get out of town. We were made aware of the evacuation, the shelters, but knowing that the fire was getting closer to the shelter, we didn't want to take any chance, and we've since found out that the original shelter in Lahaina has been evacuated as well.
Justin and Tiare, they thank you for speaking with us, giving us some perspective. This is a view from the ocean, Billy, and they were talking about evacuations and shelters and the fact that they set shelters up and then had to evacuate people from those shelters. What's the latest with that, and what should people know?
So let's go ahead and jump into that. Once again, there are some active fires that are still happening other than in Lahaina this morning. Upcountry Maui, South Maui, Kihei, still an active fire situation. Evacuations are still being conducted in South Maui. Also on the Pali Gulf, the states were told to evacuate early this morning. Maui High School, people at Kihei Community Center were relocated there last night. They've got about 1,200 people in that location. It's pretty full at this time. Let's go ahead and show you real quickly. This is footage right now of those fires that are burning over there on the island of Maui, especially up in the upcountry areas. So we're watching that carefully for you. Let's tell you about the shelters that are open right now. That is over at Maui High School, Maui Prep Academy, Hannibal Tavares Community Center, and War Memorial Gymnasium. Also, let's talk about some of the school closures that we have as we show you the shelters. Here's the Maui schools for you. Princess Nahi'enaena Elementary, King Kamehameha III Elementary, Lahaina Intermediate, Lahaina Luna High School, King Kikaulike High School is closed this morning. Also, as we move along here, we'll show you the next list that we have. These schools, Maui High, Kihei Elementary, Lokelani Intermediate, Kamali'i Elementary, Kulaniha Ko'i High School, and UH Maui College, Kamehameha Schools Maui, and A'apueo Preschool. Once again, these are the ones that are closed. Let's quickly touch over on the brush fires that have gone on over on Hawaii Island towards the Kohala coast on Hawaii Island. Residents at Kohala by the Sea, Kohala Waterfront, Kohala Estates are now being allowed to return home. Akone Pule Highway is still closed at this hour between mile markers 6 and 17 after a brush fire burned about 1,800 acres. We'll have more from Lacey coming up on those closures there on Hawaii Island in a bit. Let's go ahead and get you over the latest weather right now, and Guy Hagi.
Well, it is a first alert weather day, similar to what we had yesterday, in that it's dry out there. We still got gusty winds. However, that high wind warning has been tossed out, replaced by a less urgent wind advisory. But the red flag fire warning remains posted because we're still looking at similar conditions to yesterday. We've got low humidity levels, lots of dry fuel. And remember, parts of Maui that are burning are under moderate to severe drought. Now, these winds are still very brisk and breezy, or even for parts of the Kohala area, they're still seeing wind gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour. Now, this is all precipitated by the passing of Hurricane Dora. It's more than 700 miles away from us, but it's close enough that it's drawing in those gusty winds, but it's moving out away from us, so those winds will eventually slow down. But the wind advisory remains posted, and that red flag fire warning remains posted until 6 p.m. tonight. And what looks like rain over in Lahaina, it's not. That's just the smoke from the fire, which continue to burn. And again, firefighters are on their own. There's no help from Mother Nature. Lacey, what's going on the roads? Lots, yeah?
We're keeping a close eye on all the road closures on Maui and Hawaii Island for the brush fires. Let's first head over to the island of Maui. Essentially, no traffic is being allowed into the West Maui area. Kahekili Highway, that is currently shut down from the Waihe'e neighborhood. And then right down the road from that, Honoapi'ilani Highway blocked off at Ma'alaya, and all roads right in that Lahaina town area still shut down. That's between the Wahikuli Wayside Park to the north and Kaiheleku Street over to the south. Meanwhile, over on the island of Hawaii, just got another update from Hawaii Island Police there. Queen Ka'ahumanu Highway is currently blocked off in both directions between the Weston Hapuna entrance over to Kauai High Road, and then along Okoni Pule Highway between mile markers 6 and 17. You will not be able to enter there. This is right next to the Kohala Ranch area. So we'll stay on top of this, let you know of any additional road closures that may be needed as crews continue to battle these brush fires. That's your first alert traffic. Steve Grace, back over to you.
Thanks, Lacey. Thanks, Guy. The economic impact of the Lahaina fire will reach beyond the zone to touch residents who live nowhere near the flames.
Howard has that part of the story for us today.
Yeah, good morning. Lahaina is a major economic engine. The big West Maui resorts are farther up the coast, but Lahaina is where most of those guests go to shop and dine. Its historic role as a whaling center and a regional population center made it a colorful and attractive strolling place for visitors. That's the part of town that appears to have burned down. The scope and impact is almost too big to measure. It will lead to layoffs and cutbacks of hours at hotels, and many whole businesses may close permanently. You can expect a disaster declaration as soon as today and rapid help from the SBA, the Small Business Administration, but it won't be enough to prevent calamitous effect to the Maui County economy. And some damage will be permanent to Front Street, which the American Planning Association has called one of the 10 greatest streets in the U.S. This is Hawaii's worst urban fire since the Honolulu Chinatown fire of 1900. 2 flight cancellations are already reported this morning at Kahului Airport, the Air Canada and WestJet runs back to Vancouver. There are already dozens of flight delays to and from Maui. You'll recall that the FAA doesn't even regard a flight as delayed until it's delayed 15 minutes or longer. Hawaiian Airlines says it has largely maintained its schedule so far, but advises checking the website or the app in case something changes. It's also waiving rebooking fees through Friday. That advice is from Hawaiian Airlines, but actually, if you're on Maui, scheduled to fly on any airline, that's probably good advice to follow, guys.
So many historic buildings in Lahaina, and they're so close together. It just, you can only imagine the devastation of something like that roaring through there.
And there's the ruins of the fort that was built to protect Lahaina in the 19th century. The second largest banyan tree in the world is there.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, these businesses probably have insurance, but it's, to your point, it's probably far more complicated than that and far more difficult.
Yeah, there's the question of rebuilding, but there's also the question of cash flow. These are businesses that are going to have nothing going on right now. And as we have seen, both in Hawaii and elsewhere, when you're looking at something on network television, it's difficult to keep in mind that what's happening here isn't necessarily affecting there. Yeah. We may get vacation cancellations on other islands.
Yeah. Part of the charm of Lahaina is the fact that it is old, you know, and it had those old buildings, that old charm.
Yeah, that's a real good point. Lahaina is a colorful place, and there are a lot of people who love Lahaina so much that even though they stay farther up the coast, they come back to Maui year after year instead of going to other parts of the state.
Yeah, and again, it's not just the businesses. There's churches, there's homes. There's a lot going on there. There's schools as well. So
yeah, there actually are still residences quite close to the fire area.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks,
Holly. All right, 5-11 right now. This just in, the Hawaii Department of Transportation says about 1,800 people are sheltered at the Kahului Airport right now. We're told the Department of Transportation partnered with airlines and TSA to take care of the evacuees.
The DOT is also urging tourists to leave during this emergency. They're asking you to leave and to leave the roads open as well. Now, the DOT says that, quote, visitors looking to leave the island can contact Southwest Airlines, which has 1,000 seats available today. So contact Southwest if you're trying to leave Maui today.
Okay, that's the latest from Hawaii News Now. I was told about this fire and everything going on around that fire earlier this morning. I contacted Hawaii Emergency Services and I was told to get as much information as I could and to go on the air, and that's exactly what we've done. Folks, I want to give you more of an update than what we even have here. What is going on? Again, a huge fire engulfing a huge area on the west side of Maui. And as you saw in the news bulletin, there is a fire on the western side of the Big Island as well. And over at Hawaii Ranch area on the west side of the Big Island, they have road closures there because of that fire. You also need to be aware, because of that fire, nobody can get in or out of that area. Evacuations are already in place. That area is also just to the east of there, home to the Hualalai volcano. So just to give you an idea of where that is. But this area is on fire, literally, from top to bottom. Look at this area here near Lahaina. Folks, this fire reached almost down into these homes, and the fire department on Maui and other islands has come here to help stop this fire. United States fire crews and the National Guard are also on site. I'm going to report on that more in just a minute. Look at this fire, guys. This is really something. This is over near a volcano. I can't even pronounce the name of this volcano, but this is over at a volcano on Maui. You can see the fire in the background, the homes in the foreground. This is not a joke at all. Look at this fire. Let me enlarge this picture for you. Hawaii Emergency Management sent this to me. That is eerie. Look at all these burned out areas and very little power left on at these homes. This is incredible. This is why they asked me to come on the air, and that's why we're on the air right now. This is a huge area, guys. This is a huge area. This is also another picture of the volcano. Okay? It's an incredible sight today on the island of Maui and also over on the western side of the Big Island. Evacuations are underway across Hawaii's Big Island, and Maui is also under evacuation orders as raging fires prompted rescues and even spurred some to jump into the ocean to escape the fire, as we reported. The Coast Guard has been also called into action to help rescue the people out of the water. Lahaina eyewitnesses described an apocalyptic scene yesterday in Lahaina town, where residents were forced to jump into the harbor waters to avoid the fast-moving flames of the massive brush fire that's destroyed much of the historic area. And it continues to burn. Buildings on both sides of the main street of Lahaina were engulfed. There were no fire trucks at that point, and I think the fire department was overwhelmed. Business owner Alan Dicker told Hawaii News Now it's the most important business street on Maui. Hawaii's Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke called Hawaii's burning on Maui, "This is the unprecedented in the state, facing severe challenges to fight the flames." When we deal with hurricanes and disasters following hurricanes, we're usually dealing with heavy rain and dealing with flooding. The fact that we have wildfires from areas is a direct result, or indirectly, from the hurricane. Hurricane Dora is 500 miles to the south. This is unprecedented. It's something that Hawaii residents and the state of Hawaii has not ever experienced anything like this. Residents say an overwhelmed fire department fighting flames all day amid powerful winds could do as little to flames as they rip through the historic community of Lahaina, destroying dozens of homes and businesses in what onlookers believe is the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history since Hurricane Iniki. Hurricane Dora, as we reported just a few minutes ago, is 500 miles south of the Hawaii Islands, and its direct winds remain several hundred miles from Hawaii. But with that said, the winds are pulling the air from the Big Island. The winds of Hurricane Dora are pulling the winds from the Hawaiian Islands, which is fanning the flames. There's a red fire alert on right now on the Big Island and also on Maui. A red flag alert is an alert that they have when fire conditions get to the point where winds fanning the flames become very dangerous. So red flag alert is in process right now. Now, there's a high pressure to the north of the island as well, and low pressure from Dora to the south that's pulling those winds in the air from the island. Lieutenant Governor Luke, who took over as acting governor because the governor is out of state right now, Lieutenant Governor Luke said that they're going to need National Guard support. The Lieutenant Governor called the White House to declare a federal emergency at Maui. And President Biden has declared Maui a federal disaster area, allowing for federal support to the islands. Okay? Acting Governor Sylvia Luke confirmed that the Hawaii National Guard, after she called the White House, she got permission for the president to declare it a national disaster area. And as such, she was able to call in the Hawaii National Guard, and they have been activated to help respond to the sprawling fire crisis, which also includes other raging wildfires. The flames have forced thousands from their homes and have forced thousands of others to leave the area. As Hawaii News Now reported, they have asked all tourists to leave the islands. Southwest Airlines is not charging any rebooking fees to leave, and they're helping out because they have 1,000 seats on their airlines to help tourists leave the island. Many aren't sure what they'll find when they return either. Sylvia Luke, acting governor, while Governor Josh Green is out of state, said hospitals are overwhelmed and communication systems are down in some Maui areas. The hospitals on the island of Maui have been overwhelmed with burn patients and people suffering from smoke inhalation. Lieutenant Governor Luke said that caring for those injured in the wildfires has been hampered by the difficulty of transporting patients to other hospitals, other facilities. We are already in communication with other hospital systems about relieving the burden. The reality is that we need to fly people out of Maui to give them burn support because Maui Hospital cannot do extensive burn treatment. In addition to dealing with disasters, we're dealing with major transportation issues as well. Authorities are also struggling to communicate with areas cut off by the wildfires and coordinate evacuations. Mayor Bison, mayor of Maui, has issued an emergency proclamation in response to fires on Maui, Hawaii. Lahaina and upcountry Maui fires combined today. They've issued an update as of last night and another update as of this morning. Fire crews continue to battle brush and structure fires in upcountry and Lahaina areas. Mayor Bison issued the emergency proclamation in response to fires. The American Red Cross has also opened Maui High School as an evacuation center. Waihikuli residents in West Maui were evacuated last night. 12 people in Maui County were rescued after they jumped into the ocean to escape wildfire danger. As I said before, the Coast Guard has been responding to impacted areas where residents have entered the ocean due to smoke and fire conditions. Individuals were transported by the Coast Guard to safe areas. Erratic winds and steep terrain in areas of Maui are challenging crews battling this wildfire. Maui County Fire Assistant Chief Jeff Geisa said, quote, "The fire can be a mile or more from your house, but in a minute or two it can be at your house. Burning airborne materials can light fires a great distance away from the main body of the fire. Flying embers is one of the worst things that they can have happen, and it's actually happening. These flying embers that are picked up by the winds that are there are being transported to other areas and lighting homes and other brush on fire. A firefighter who is responding to the West Maui fire has experienced smoke inhalation and was taken to Maui Memorial Medical Center. He's now in stable condition. Regarding the 911 service in Maui, it's not available. 911 cell service is down. Phone service is down. This is just part of the problem. Maui County Fire has not been able to communicate with residents on the west side. On the Lahaina side, the historic town of Lahaina has essentially been burned to the ground. On Maui's west side, 911 service is currently down, with resorts, visitors, and commercial districts losing communications due to down cell towers, according to emergency officials. For emergencies, if you are on the island of Maui, and for that matter over on the Big Island, call the police department directly. You can text them. You cannot call them. text them to 911. Text messages to 911 can be answered. The text messages to 911 can be answered. You can need to text those messages directly to the police. Lahaina fire and upcountry Maui fires are combined. The EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, is trying to do everything it can to deploy individuals and firefighting people into the areas with satellite phone service. They have only been in contact with perhaps one hotel because of one hotel cooperating with cell phones. They have cell phones at that hotel and they're relaying messages. That's the only way that officials on the island have been able to have communications with that side of the island is through cell phone service at that particular hotel. Communications is impeding everything. It's impeding efforts to evacuate residents, and we are very concerned about that. State officials are working with hotels and a local airline to evacuate tourists to another island. A red flag warning, as we have said, has been issued at 3:18 a.m. this morning by the National Weather Service in Honolulu until 6 p.m. tonight. The red flag warning was issued at 3:18 a.m. and will be in service. It will be in service until 6 p.m. tonight. The affected area: most leeward areas of all Hawaii islands. Again, most leeward areas of all Hawaiian islands. Wind: east winds of 20 to 35 miles per hour with gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Humidity: 40 to 45% through the afternoon hours, because, folks, the humidity is also helping the fire move. Outdoor burning is not recommended. A red flag warning means that crucial fire conditions exist, and they're either occurring now or will shortly occur. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and extreme fire danger. It's contributing to the extreme fire behavior. A red flag warning does not predict new fire starts. I need to repeat that again. A red flag warning does not predict new fire starts. Lahaina and the upcountry Maui fires, like I said, have been combined. The fire department is advising immediately to activate proactive evacuation of residents of Holopui, Puluhu roads in Kalua, subdivisions north and south of Lapoa Parkway down to Maui Meadows, and Ohukai subdivisions in Kihi. The Lahaina Civic Center evacuation site has been moved to Maui Preparatory at Napili and Honokauai to place evacuees away from impacted Lahaina town. Residents of Kihi Community Center evacuation site has been relocated to Maui High School as a precautionary measure. Hanupuapi, I don't know Hawaiian, so I am having problems with some of these pronunciations. Honuapi-Halani Highway remains open, outbound traffic only. Motorists should expect very heavy traffic. If you don't have to go through that area, do not. It's only outbound traffic only. Now, when I talk about water buffaloes, I'm talking about great big trucks supplying water to communities. Great big huge trucks. They're called water buffaloes, containing drinking water. Water buffaloes containing drinking water are located at Kalua Fire Station and Kalua Community Center, Rice Park and Crater Road, and Hydrant 373. Again, water buffaloes containing drinking water are located at Kalua Fire Station and Kalua Community Center, Rice Park and Crater Road, and Hydrant 373. The county has requested for all National Guard to report. They requested National Guard support immediately. Multiple evacuation orders are in place. Structure damages have already occurred. No details have been yet given to us about the extent of damages. Nothing is available at this point in time. The American Red Cross is staffing emergency shelters at Kahihi Community Center, Lahaina Civic Center, and Pukalani at Hannibal Tavares. Let me say that again because I screwed that up. The American Red Cross is staffing emergency centers at Kahihi Community Center, Lahaina Civic Center, and Pukalani at Hannibal Tavares Community Center. Pet owners. Pet owners utilizing the shelters need to have pets properly restrained, either on leashes or in crates. Pet owners using the shelters need to have your pets properly restrained, either on leashes or in crates. Lahaina and upcountry Maui fires update. Multiple structures have burned and multiple evacuations are in place as fire crews continuing to battle the brush fires and structure fires in upcountry and Lahaina areas. The Maui County Emergency Operations Center has been fully activated, and the Emergency Operations Center over on the Big Island has also been activated. The Emergency Management Agency for the state and federal resources, it has been activated. In West Maui, fire crews from Napili, Lahaina, Kahihi, and Wailuku responded to the fast-moving fire, which was fueled by the strong winds as Hurricane Dora passed and is south of the Big Island. On the west side, evacuations have occurred at Lehanaluna Road, Hali Malahulu, Kelawai Mauka, and Lahaina Bypass. And I know I butchered those names. Again, I believe it's pronounced Lahaina Luna Road, Lahaina Luna Road, and Hali Malau Kaliwea Mauka, and Lahaina Bypass. Forgive me if I mispronounce those Hawaiian names. Hanalopalani Highway from Hokio Place to Leona Bypass was reopened at about 5 p.m. last night. Hanalopalani Highway from Hokio, Hanalopalani Highway from Hokio Place to Lahaina Bypass was reopened about 5 p.m. last night following the clearing of the downed power lines to allow access in and out of Lahaina via Hokio Place. Motorists have been advised to expect traffic to be slowed through the bypass. The upcountry fire was reported at 12:22 a.m. today near Olinda Road, and it led to early morning evacuation of residents in Kalua 200 and Hanamu Road areas. As of yesterday afternoon, the perimeter of the upcountry fire was about 1,000 acres and reached as far as Kualona Place and Kulua Lodge. In the upcountry Maui area, where firefighters from Kulua, Makawao, Kahualui, and Wailea were assigned crews, and they were focused on the subdivision, including Kulualani Drive and Kulualani Circle at about 5 p.m. yesterday evening. The fire department called for the evacuation of residents from the subdivision. The American Red Cross, like I said, is staffing emergency shelters at Lahaina Civic Center, Pukalani at Hannibal Tavares Community Center. Again, pet owners that will be utilizing the shelters need to have their pets properly restrained. Hawaiian Electric Company advises residents to stay at least 30 feet or more away from downed power lines, which may be energized. Downed power lines can be reported to text to 911. Need to text 911 or Hawaii Electric's trouble line at 808-871-7777. Again, you can call Hawaii Electric's trouble line at 808-871-7777. More information is also available at Down Power Line Safety Hawaii Electric. Down Power Line Safety at Hawaii Electric. Do we have any questions about what we've covered this morning? Demon Cat says high winds are pushing it. Yes, it is. Very high winds. It's driving the fire to a tremendous extent. That's why we have low humidity. Low humidity and wind don't make a good firefighter happy. I know there's a lot of people that have friends over on Hawaii and over at Maui. A lot of people have their families there. That's one of the reasons why we were asked to go on the air. Does anybody have any more questions? Now, we will be working throughout the afternoon until this evening's program to get you any more information that might become available. But that's the information I have for you right now. Again, one of my friends notified me of this morning, and then I was asked to go on the air by Hawaii Emergency Management officials. So that's why we are on the air with this information. Richard Smith says, what island the Haiku Stairs on? I don't know. I don't know where the Haiku Stairs are. Yes, a lot of people climb there. I understand. I understand that. A lot of people are all over these islands. Guys, Maui is one of the prime areas for tourists. And now the tourists have been asked to leave. I personally wanted to go to Maui one of these days. I don't know whether I'll ever have the money to do it. But this is a big deal. It's huge. Like the Lieutenant Governor said, they haven't seen anything like this from the hurricane a long time ago. This is a big, big deal. Sister Gabriella is saying, presently it's raining off and on in downtown Hilo, Hawaii, on the east side of the Big Island, and I'm sure the Hilo residents appreciate that. But they have fires over on the west side too, and hopefully some of those rain will cross over the volcanoes over to the west side of the island. That's what we're hoping. Okay? Catherine Sigurdsson says, is there a safe place on the island? Yes. It's over on the southeast side of the island at the present time. Maria says, Maui is the most beautiful of all the islands. I agree. It's a gorgeous area. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about? I know between the report I got from Hawaii News Now and also what I've gotten from the emergency operations centers and other information that I've acquired, I've said a lot of stuff. I've covered a lot of important information. Does anybody have any questions that I can try to answer at this point in time? I'm acting kind of like an emergency management official in Hawaii. I understand that. But we only have what information we have. Wolf just gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Wolf. We appreciate it. Wolf is one of our partners, one of our friends over on Mark Inspires program on YouTube. I urge you all to go over to his channel and say hi to him and give him some love. Wolf says, hey Ron, thank you for keeping us informed. God bless you. Thank you very much, Wolf. We appreciate you very, very much. We appreciate everybody here that contributes to our program. These super chats and other donations you give us over at PayPal and Venmo are extremely important to us right now. very, very important, and we appreciate everybody that is helping to support this program. Sister Gabriella in the chat is saying, I would recommend that people on the Kona side of the Big Island head out to Saddle Road to Hilo. The road is still open according to a friend driving on it right now. And I second that idea. If you're on the Kona side, drive over to Saddle Road to Hilo. OBZRV is asking me about the disclosure for UFOs. I will talk about that tonight. Maria is asking, how did the fire start? We believe it may have been by lightning. We don't know for sure. It was not volcanoes. It had nothing to do with magma action beneath that volcano over there. We believe it was lightning that started it. We'll have more information on that probably in the next few days. Any other questions? These are all good questions. There's no dumb questions, guys. This is all very important. Also, you need to be praying for these good people over on Hawaii, on Maui, and the Big Island. Everybody appreciates your prayers, and prayers are certainly needed. Lives have been uprooted and destroyed, with those homes and businesses gone. Like the report said, the Lahaina Business District has been there for a very long time. And it's been there and has contributed to the prosperity of Maui. And now that is gone. It's totally gone. The entire town of Lahaina is gone. Gone. And I've never seen anything like it before. I've never seen a town or city destroyed like this. Heart Sada says this is not normal. This is being done by the weather thing we're not supposed to discuss. Yeah, I agree. It may have been done on purpose, yes. But in this case, the fires we have now are being pushed from behind by Hurricane Dora, which is 500 miles to the south. As that hurricane rotates, as that hurricane wind rotates, it's pulling wind or pulling air from the island, which is causing wind, up to 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So indirectly, Hurricane Dora is contributing to the winds and the low humidity factor on Maui and also the Big Island. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. Any other questions? I want to thank Demon Catman, because he came right into this program and started taking charge of the chat, and I appreciate that very much. Folks, please pay attention to our mods. These people are trained. They're very good at what they do. Art Sada says, God is angry, too many fires this year, and I've never seen this in my life. Pray for the Hawaiians. I don't think necessarily that God is angry at the islands. I think God is angry at the American people. God is angry at some of the people of the world because they've not been doing what they've been told to do. That's what I believe. That's totally what I believe. Spunky Sugar, number 1, do not use capital letters. YouTube doesn't like that. That could take our channel down. Okay? What you talked about is possibly true, but this time I'm not going to discuss it. That is an entirely different program. That's an entirely different program. Heart Sada, we also took your information down as well. We can't talk about that. Not on this program today. Catherine Sigerson in Canada says, I'm 59. I've never seen fires like this before. I've seen fires, I've seen fires in Colorado, really bad fires that consumed hundreds of thousands of acres. It nearly reached the town of Littleton where I was. I've seen fire in the Rocky Mountains before. I've seen fire in Idaho and Utah before. Very, very bad. Never consuming an entire town like it's done at Lahaina. It's bad. Spunky Sugar, we'll talk about that another time. Carolyn Martin, my friend from Colorado, is asking, fires from the volcano or barbecue or horror? It's not from barbecuing, it's not from the volcano. We believe it has been lightning strikes that did it. We will know more about that in the coming days. Fire officials are working hard to put out this fire and stop it before it consumes any more land or homes. They will come to a solution on what happened as soon as they possibly can. Okay? Catherine Sigurdsson says if it's dry, it could have been a cigarette butt. You're right. Nobody knows right now. I'm hoping to have more information later. Today, tomorrow, whenever it comes. But right now, the firefighters are more concerned about putting this thing out and stopping it than they are concerned about finding out what started it. They may have that information, but they're not talking, and I wouldn't be either. Heart Size says, I hope they can save these people. I heard they were jumping in the water to flee. That's exactly right. And the Coast Guard, like we reported, got there and have been assisting firefighters in retrieving people out of the water and transporting them to safe locations. It's been a big deal over there in Hawaii. There's a lot of wonderful people there. I've been over to Oahu. Oahu is a very special place to me. And like I said, I wanted to go over to Maui as well, but that's not going to happen for a while. Sister Gabriella is in the chat, and she's over on the Big Island. She says the entire state of Hawaii has been radically short of medical personnel for some time now. I totally understand that. I already know because the Emergency Operations Center has asked for any extra medical staff from other islands and other places to please come there and help the hospitals over at Maui and also over on the Big Island. People with burns have been transported to other hospitals, other facilities, because the Maui hospital does not have these specialized facilities for these burn patients. They're being transferred to other places. So if you are a specialist, if you're a doctor or a nurse with specialties in hospital medical burn treatment, you probably should contact the hospitals on Maui and also over on Oahu and the Big Island and see if your services are needed. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there. Sister Gabriella says, send medical personnel. I just asked for that. I've been asked to do that on several occasions over the last 4 years plus. Catherine Sigurdsson says, I guess bring in a cruise liner and board everyone. That might be nice. And I think they've considered that. I don't know for sure. There was rumors earlier, but I'm sure they're considering that. Any other questions? Carol Martin's here in the chat saying they need to replant vegetation ASAP to prevent mudslides in the next big rainstorm. She's absolutely right. And I'm sure as soon as they get these fires out, they're going to concentrate on making sure that the vegetation is replanted in the burn areas. Even though, folks, burn areas tend to repopulate the vegetation because the seeds that were burned go into the ground or fall in the ground once the fire clears that area. But nature needs human help to plant this area and replant. We're going to see storms coming into the Big Island. and over into Maui and all the other islands in Hawaii. I do not think that Hurricane Dora was the only storm to get near here, and I don't think it will be the last this season. Hurricane season could go right through November into December. That would not be good. That would not be good. Yes, Hurricane Dora is 500 miles south of the Big Island and south of Maui. But like I explained, the winds that are churning around Hurricane Dora are pulling the air from the big islands, or not from just the Big Island, but from the islands of Hawaii, pulling that air out, and that's creating the winds that they have on the islands today. That's why they have 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. Yes, mudslides are going to be a big deal now. Mudslides are going to be a huge deal on the Big Island and also over on Maui. A lot of things are going to happen. We need Richard Smith from Canada, from the great area of Nova Scotia, is saying watch for major things worldwide. I agree. We need to watch for things worldwide. This is not over. This kind of emergency is not over at all. Catherine Sigerson saying, I feel so bad for everyone dealing with fires. May we all be safe. I agree. I think that's a good sentiment to leave this chat with right now. Guys, I ask the Lord to bless you. We ask a special blessing on the residents of Hawaii. God bless you all. God bless our medical personnel, whoever they might be. God is going to watch over everyone. I'm sure of that. If there's any other issues, guys, we'll be back on the air as soon as we get that information. More information is forthcoming, I am sure. And anything else that we need to talk about, including the New Madrid fault and also the earthquakes in California and the Pacific Northwest, will cover during the next few days, today and tomorrow. If you have any questions, email them or message me on Messenger, and we'll take those questions up on our next program tonight. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. God bless everybody. We sure need it. Have a great day, guys. We will see you on the other side of all of this. Have a good one. Bye for now.